When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Samsung big screen we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Time for that upgrade to an HD 3D web-enabled Samsung TV. Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
Hi, I'm John Mallis. Welcome to this live edition of Connect with Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this Monday morning. It's on the air, off the presses. Today we're going to be talking about broadcast television, including the station that you're watching us on right now, 43.6 and 13.1. We'll have two broadcasters in the house, and you're welcome to call in at 436 MeTV option 11. Do turn down the sound. Back in a moment. Hope you had a great weekend. It's good to be back here on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this Monday morning. It is on the air, off the presses as usual. Hope you had a good weekend. Hey, I believe today is the first day of fall, is it not? Hey, it's a good day to be alive. It's a good day to be here in the studio talking to you, the Connect with Me viewers. You're watching us live on a Comcast 187, 43.6 and 13.1. And by the way, in case you missed this program, we'll be here for the full 60 minutes until 11 o'clock. You can also catch the replay on YouTube 13.6 between 2 and 3 o'clock today, and also Biz TV, that is 13.5 on your television dial at 8 o'clock tonight for the full hour. Today we've got a couple of broadcasters in the house. Now, you might be asking yourself right there on the couch watching this program, what does that mean? Well, these two people, they own broadcast television stations, including the ones you might be watching us on right now. I want to take you to the videotape, show you exactly what we're talking about today here on the air, off the presses. And a question for you, my friends. Do you know the difference between a high power and a low power television station? That's a big question. Not a station that is delivered through cable or satellite, but one that sends the signal through the air with an antenna that sits on your roof. We actually sell many of those digital antennas right here at Ventura TV, as you may or may not know, so that you can receive those broadcast signals for free of charge, yes. Our two guests today will explain the difference between the two stations. And here's the other question. Did you know that Congress right now will be trying to debate this issue next year on whether or not to eliminate free television as well? Those low power stations are at risk of going bye-bye, all thanks to the FCC's broadband plan and the auction of some of the broadcast spectrum. This is our topic today, but we'll talk about many other things. We think it's a very important issue that you should be informed about and what's going on in the world of broadcast television. Live in our studio right now is Gary Cocola. He's the president and the CEO of Cocola Broadcasting Companies. And of course, Mark-Shirin, hey, he's our boss here. He's my boss, the owner of Ventura TV and the president and general manager of Ventura Broadcasting Company. So you're welcome to call in and ask your questions about television, about free television, free TV, how to get your antenna, where to buy it, where to get it, and what all of this means. 436 MeTV option 11. We've got two great guests in the house today, so do call in and do turn down the sound. Back in just a moment.
Retro TV, your home for classic television. The greatest shows in history are here for you to enjoy. Join Cosby and Culp as secret agent men in I Spy. Ride along the Ponderosa with the Cartwrights in Bonanza. Hit the beat with Joe Friday in Dragnet. And that's not all. Retro TV offers endless fun and excitement for the whole family to enjoy. Retro TV, the best in classic television.
You can find Retro TV on over-the-air channel 13.4.
We're back here on the program today. It is on the air, off the presses. We're talking with a couple of one broadcast legend, I got to say that. Gary Cocola, how are you? Good to see you, my friend.
John.
Mark, good to see you. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Great.
So we're talking about television and free TV, broadcast TV, and I mentioned in the monologue, you know, what is the difference? I posed the question between a high-powered broadcast station and, say, a low-powered station. So what's the difference? Let's start with you, Mark.
Not much. If you have an outdoor antenna, you
Okay.
really can't see the difference between a low power and a high power television. High power television has some privileges that low power television does not, legal privileges. But in terms of performance and picture quality and reach, it's pretty much the same here in the valley. Now, it could be different in other parts of the country. We happen to be perched on a 4,400 foot high mountain, which gives us excellent coverage, North Valley as well as South Valley. So being a low power, it has really no disadvantage to a viewer.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to go up to Meadow Lakes and show that. Not right now, but I want to ask you, Gary. You've been in broadcasting many years.
Long time.
Yeah, long time. Couple of years.
Couple of years.
So is there a debate between high power and low power, or should there be a debate, or is there a big difference? Like Mark said, there isn't much of a difference. I mean, so what should we be talking about?
Well, there isn't a difference today because of digital television, but many years ago, low-power TV stations had a very inferior signal. You'd look at a low-power TV station, if you didn't have an outside antenna, the picture was very snowy. That's what we used to call it in those days. But now with digital, all stations are perfectly clear. So we've really come a long way in moving into the digital age with low-power television. But as you said, we're in jeopardy of those low-power TV stations all going away now because of the broadband plan.
You know, if there is no difference because of the digital stations, so if I'm watching 13.1, which many of us, many of our viewers are watching this program right now live on MeTV, that's considered a low-power station, but I turn it on and I see that picture, and then I turn it to channel 30 and I'm watching their news, I see no difference in the picture. So why this debate, high power and low power, when we have these digital antennas now?
When the first low-power television stations were authorized in the 1980s, they were authorized as secondary services by the FCC, which means that high power takes precedent over low-power stations on a particular channel.
Okay.
So if a high-power channel wants to move to a low-power channel number, they take precedent.
Okay, let's put up a graphic, if you can, of the range, the area in which broadcast TV, the signal goes out here in the Central Valley. In fact, we've got two of Mark, Gary, you can look up there. Quite a range in terms of the Central Valley. That's more of a close-up, but how far does it go out, Mark? A long way.
Probably a 50 to 75 miles from the transmission point.
And we've had viewers that have actually picked up signals 80, 90 miles away.
That's a long way. And that is further than, say, in the 70s or 80s when you're talking about broadcast TV, isn't that right? Because of the digital antenna. Maybe you can talk about that, Mark. I don't know, or Gary.
Well, if you had a outside antenna many years ago, you could pick up the signal 80 miles, 90 miles away from the transmission.
But it wasn't that good, though.
No, it was. There was degradation in the signal. But now you either get a perfectly clear picture of the channel or you don't get it at all.
Yeah. Mark, I remember in the old days, to get Bay Area TV, we used to have to turn the antenna by hand. Now with this digital antenna, which you sell many of these digital antennas, various ones here at Ventura TV, those signals come in easier and much more clear, like Gary said, in your opinion. There's one of them right there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they're very efficient and they pick up signals a lot easier. It used to be you had to put up an antenna maybe 10 or 20 feet above your roof to get a signal. Now with the digital signals, they're more robust, and either, like Gary said, you either get it or you don't. We recommend outdoor antennas because the indoor type don't work that well, and sometimes you get pixelization or freezing of the picture. But with an outdoor antenna, signal is very good.
And when you say you either get it or you don't, when it does come in, it's perfect. It's like it's across the street, right?
Correct.
Okay. We got a couple of minutes before we got to go to break, but let me ask you about this debate in Washington now, Gary. They're talking about eliminating the secondary free channels. What's going on there? I've read a little bit about it online, but what's the debate?
Well, in 2010, the broadband plan came out. There is a shortage, at least the wireless carriers say there's a shortage of spectrum to broadcast signals to your cell phones. And they're going to take away UHF channel 31 to channel 51 and use that spectrum. They're going to auction off the spectrum, and they're going to use that for more ancillary services for cell phones, so that folks with smartphones can have more robust service in the UHF band. But they're taking that spectrum away from low-power TV broadcasters such as ourselves so that they can auction off that spectrum.
Take a call here real quick. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Good morning. I love your program. Two questions. Number one, you keep referring to a broadband plan. What is that plan? And number two, who's that wonderful, lovely young lady that does all your TV ads? Is she related to you? Daughter, wife? I remember watching about 2 or 3 years ago when you first came on the air. She's really become a wonderful advertising person for you.
Thank you very much. That's Lauren, and she's right behind the camera right now, producing the show. And she's really blossomed in the time that she's been with us here at Ventura Broadcasting.
And she's
give her a cash reward, because she's really well worth it.
Did you see that last photo there, guys? She was giving me the thumbs up, or was that a thumbs down? Oh, there it is. Okay, right there. All right. Well, anyway, thank you for
and
the
what is this broadband plan that you refer to?
Okay, the broadband plan, Blair Levin was hired by the Obama administration to come in and come up with a plan because AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, and Sprint all told the government that they needed more spectrum. So Blair Levin came up with a plan to take away the UHF channels from television broadcasters, channel 31 through 51, and auction it off to the highest bidder. And of course, those bidders will be AT&T, T-Mobile, Sprint, and Verizon. So that should take place sometime next year. Now, in addition to that broadband plan, there is also a repack of channels. Any channels operating between channel 31 and 51 will have the opportunity to find a channel on lower frequencies. They can either move into the channels between 14 and 30, or they can move to the VHF channels between channel 2 and channel 13. So, if we can't find a vacant channel as low-power broadcasters to move to after they repack all of the channels, then we're out of business. Those low-power TV stations are virtually out of business.
So you have to find a place if this happens. This hasn't happened yet, and it's a big if or a small if.
Yes. Actually, right now in the Fresno market, channel 18 is broadcasting a digital signal on 40, so it will have to move. Channel 21 is already on channel 20, so it doesn't have to move. Channel 24 is on channel 38, it has to move. Channel 26 is on channel 28, it does not have to move. Channel 30 doesn't have to move. They're broadcasting on a digital channel 30. Our channel 43 must move because it's between 31 and 51. Channel 47 is on channel 34 digital, so they have to move. Channel 50, the Catholic Educational Television station, is broadcasting on channel 50. They have to move. Channel 51, the Telemundo station, does not have to move. They're broadcasting on channel 11. And channel 59 has to move. They have to move because they're on channel 36, so they're above 31. And channel 61 in Porterville, the Unimos television station, It's broadcasting on channel 48, and it must move to a lower channel. There are 12 high-power television stations in the market, and about half of them have to move out of that 31 to 51 frequency.
So it will have some impact on some of the stations right here in the Central Valley, but still, Congress has to vote in favor of this broadband plan.
They already have.
Oh, they already have?
They already have.
So it's going to happen?
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to continue our conversation with Mark-Shirin, the president, the CEO of Ventura Broadcasting Company, and Gary Cocola. He is the president and CEO of all of his broadcasting companies. We're going to be back with your phone calls, 436-ME-TV option 11. Remember, you're watching us on two of those broadcast stations, 43.6 and 13.1. So call in if you've got a question. Back in a moment.
Considering solar? Whether you're ready to buy now or just exploring your options, the consultants at Solar Negotiators are here to help you. A call to Solar Negotiators is like calling 5 solar companies at once. You see, when local established solar contractors have gaps in their schedule, they call Solar Negotiators to fill them. Right now, get 5 years of panel cleaning and maintenance or $1,000 off your new solar panels. So stop wasting your time searching and call Solar Negotiators, because when contractors compete for your business, you win.
Back here on the program, connect with me, 436-ME-TV option 11. Do call in if you have any questions about television, broadcast television. Not talking about cable or satellite or any of that stuff right now. We're talking about good old-fashioned broadcast television. And you wanted to make one correction, Mark? Go ahead.
Not necessarily a correction, but I think Gary, when he was mentioning the different channels and what they were broadcasting on, just so the public's clear about this, there is an actual assigned channel from the FCC, which is the actual channel number, and then there's a virtual channel, which is what we see on our TV sets. So in the case of channel 26, I think you brought that up, they really broadcast, their actual station is 28.
28, yeah.
28. But we see on our screens channel 26.1. So I just want to make that clear.
Well, I want to get into this because there are sub-channels. There's like 26, 26.1, 26.2, 26.3. What's that all about, Gary?
Well, each channel can, in standard definition, go up to 6, 8, 10 channels. It's just splitting the bandwidth of the 19.2 megahertz into as many channels as the encoder can squeeze into that piece of spectrum. In the case of channel 13, there are 10 subchannels. In the case of our channel 43, there's 6 subchannels. Channel 30 only has 3. 24 only has 2. So you can see that if you have the right type encoder, you can squeeze a lot of programming in standard definition into the amount of bandwidth you have. Now, if you're doing high definition, then that limits the amount of bandwidth. You can probably end up with 2 or 3 subchannels and 1 HD channel, usually on .1.
Right, and what our viewers just saw at home are the channels right there of Ventura Broadcasting. And Mark, these are all brand new channels that you have you've taken over here, including Biz TV, Retro TV. This is all besides Me TV, which started about 3 or 4 years ago?
June of 2011.
June of 2011, yeah.
These networks are called diginets. That's the common name for them, and the diginets that we carry are some of the most popular in the United States.
Okay, and you can receive, the viewers at home need to know that you can receive these channels by just installing a regular antenna on your roof. I know a lot of people are not even familiar with this because they think that has gone by the wayside. You'd be surprised how many people are surprised themselves at antenna TV. Let's roll a piece of videotape and let's show one of the hookups of how you can do it. Mark, you sell a lot of these antennas, but I'm surprised at how many people think, oh, I can only receive television through Comcast or Dish or whatever. Not true.
Yeah,
here's one of the hookups right here.
Digital, and receiving a signal via digital antenna is probably the best kept secret in the United States right now.
And there's a difference between the picture, because a cable picture is squeezed.
Right. There's some advantages to digital broad. When it went from analog to digital in 2009, that what started the sub-channel phenomenon. In other words, before the digital conversion, you only had one channel. Gary had channel 43. He had one stream of programming on. When it went to digital and you purchased the right encoding equipment, you could subdivide that channel and have more capacity to broadcast many streams. So digital broadcasting has an advantage in that, number one, you can offer more than one stream if you have the right equipment, and two, the signal quality is perfect because it's not compressed. When Dish Network or DirecTV or Comcast has a signal, they have to compress the signal because the signal is too robust.
Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, I would like to know, how long do you think it'll be before this free TV, the government takes it away?
That's a good question.
Or the big, the big cable companies or whatever. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, we're here. We're listening. Go ahead.
I would like to know, how long do you think it will be before Congress passes something or free TV's gone?
Well, it isn't going to be gone completely. All of the high-power channels that are here in Fresno, 12 of them, they will continue to operate. And there are some Class A television stations that are low power. They won't go away. It's just the channels that are considered low power TV that possibly could go away. It's going to be 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 years. It could be longer. We don't know. We don't have the answers.
Yeah. Okay. Caller, you still there?
Yes, I am. I am. And I appreciate the answers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Roll another piece of videotape. It's called Programming, and Mark or Gary, you can comment on this. With free television, with antenna TV, there's a host of channels you can get. Talk about that, Mark.
Yeah, we have by the way, on our website, venturabroadcasting.com, if you go to the header, there's a button or a link there that's called Channel Guide. And if you press on Channel Guide, you'll get I don't know, there's about 5 or 6 pages of channels that are available in the Fresno area. The last time I scanned a TV, I think last week, I think there was over 80 channels that were available to anyone that has an outdoor antenna. Now, you could get, if you had an indoor set-top antenna, you'd probably get half of that.
I want to explain to our viewers here real quick what's happening here. When you buy
that's a demonstration of how you scan for channels. Once you hook your antenna up, you go to auto program, and the TV remembers the channels that are available, and then once the scanning is done, they'll be on your TV.
And you should actually rescan often, perhaps once a month. Because there are new channels always coming on the air.
Okay.
We're going to be putting new channels on. Mark will be putting new channels on. And so if you don't scan, your TV only remembers the last time you scanned. Now, some TV sets will automatically pick up the new channels, but most will not. So you need to rescan at least once a month.
Okay. We're talking with Gary Cocola and Mark-Shirin, and your phone calls are invited here, 436-ME-TV option 11, talking about free broadcast television. Not Comcast, not Dish, not the cable companies, but free television, which has come into your home since the beginning of time, when television all began, back in the late 40s, early 50s. We're back with our program and your phone calls in a moment.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Back here on the program, 436-ME-TV option 11, a call coming in. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to direct a question to Gary.
Yeah.
Gary, do you think a lot of this has to do with money? Because that's the only reason I see getting away from, of course it's going to be already in effect next year or whatever. But most of it, I believe, is because the money. You got Comcast, and I see you're smiling, so I know that's the big thing. But Comcast and Direct and all that, the high power ones where they can get a lot of stations. Even and connected with me is how I got you all, and I really enjoyed the station. And every time at 10 o'clock, I'm flipping. And I don't care where I'm at, but the thing is that it takes a lot of fun because of these stations, the low power stations, and a lot of them that turn to the old movies, the old chips, and all that stuff. Which I enjoy because it brings memories. I'm at that age, 67, where that I enjoy that because I don't enjoy too much of going out to the movies. Or because a lot of it's free, whatever, But we pay an arm and a leg for Comcast, and it's the money. So Congress, by approving all of this, it's already in effect. There's nothing more you can do about it. Is that true, Gary?
Yes, you're right. There really isn't anything now that we can do but ride this out and find out exactly what's going to happen. There are some people who are telling me, and of course, I really don't know the answer, that the broadband plan could possibly blow up, that it might not happen. There are issues with the borders, the Mexican border, the Canadian border, where broadcast television stations, there just isn't enough spectrum on the borders to operate the Canadian stations that come into the States and the American stations that go into Canada, the same thing with Mexico. So they haven't really worked out how they're going to make all these channels that are in both of those border markets fit. There just isn't enough room. It's like pounding all of this stuff into a small bag, and it's not going to fit. Yeah. So the jury is still out on whether this is going to really take place. We're not sure that it will.
All right.
But they're telling us it will.
Another phone call. Good morning, caller. What's your question?
Well, my question is I'm watching Antenna TV, and the question I have, they're talking about cutting channels or moving channels, and I know we have like 4.1 to 61.1 on my TV. Why don't they just go up to like 90? Can they do that? That's my question.
No, they can't. Right now, the broadcast spectrum is channel 2 to channel 13 VHF, very high frequency, and then channel 14 to channel 51 UHF, or ultra high frequency. Now, many years ago, a lot of folks don't remember this far back, but UHF at one time used to be channel 14 to channel 83. So now they only have channel 14 to channel 51, and they're taking away channel 31 to 51.
So confusing. It really is. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, I'm only calling to thank Gary for Me TV and Antenna TV.
We got to thank Mark, too.
You got to thank Mark for
Oh, yes, Mark, too. I want to thank you. I'm in my 60s, and let me tell you, the only show that I can't stand is Mr. Ed. I could never stand that show. I don't know why, but all the other shows, and the only thing that I have to complain, Sunday nights at Monday midnight, The Fugitive. What happened to that?
I have no idea.
Here's one of the things that I should tell you as a viewer. We don't control the programming that's on Me TV or Antenna TV. That comes from the network. So if any of the schedules change, you should contact the network and tell them of your displeasure, because we have nothing to do with it. We are only the rebroadcast of that signal from the network.
You want to follow up on that, Mark? I mean, it's true.
It's fall, and a lot of the stations change their schedule right about this time of the year.
Oh, and there's a lot of changes on both channels.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, you can go to the website. You could go to MeTV website, and I think there's a button on that website that allows you to download the fall schedule. and that might be handy to have. If you have a problem, you can call us at VBC, and we'll get one printed for you or email one to you. We're happy to accommodate our viewers. That's one thing about low power television operators. We tend to be.
I want to say again, thank you for both stations. I'm at that age that I don't watch these new movies with all those bad words.
We're happy that you like us.
I have a question. I have a question for you, caller. Do you receive our channels via an antenna, or are you on cable?
I'm on Comcast.
Oh, you're on Comcast.
Okay.
Now, a lot of our customers, and thank you, caller, very much. I wanted to comment a little bit about, a lot of people are augmenting their Comcast, they're on Comcast, but they realize that there's stations that they'd like to receive that aren't on Comcast. For example, our Euro News, very, very popular station.
I want you to pick up on another call. Okay, I want to roll a piece of videotape, but I want you to pick up on that point,
Sure.
Mark. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, I was just going to say I agree with the caller that was called earlier. That Lauren, she's a great person to see on TV there, and I think if you sent some video clips to Congress there, I think of her, you might get them to change their minds on reducing those frequencies.
Okay.
Now that we've pumped up her ego, one of my questions would be, I guess, can you expand on the frequencies within the range of 30 to 14? I mean, can you, I know right now it's like, from 1 to 10, but can you expand it to say, have it, where it's like 1 to 20 or so forth like that? Is there any kind of capability for that right now?
Yes, they're actually working on a plan right now to change the broadcasting to 3.0 is what they call it, ATSC 3.0, which will mean that all the televisions that are in existence today will either have to be augmented with some type of another tuner, like from the transition between analog and digital. You'll need a new box in order to get the 3.0 channels. And there's word that we can squeeze more channels than 10, as many as 20 or even 30 channels onto one broadcast station. So that's the word for the future, but it hasn't happened yet.
That's down the road a little bit. Before I do go to break, okay, I am going to go to break, but I want to roll the piece of videotape that shows the free van. I want Mark to pick up on his last point before the caller called in, because you were talking about cable television. This is the van that you might see out and around in your neighborhood here in the city of Fresno or on the outskirts of when they come out, they install the antenna. Mark, pick up on your last point.
Well, a lot of people realize that TV, broadcast TV, is not our grandfather's or our father's TV, but really is a new breed of programming. And there's a lot of variety out there, a lot of stations that people want to watch that are not carried by the cable services, not by Comcast, not by AT&T Uverse, not by Dish or Direct, and they'd like to receive those channels. We broadcast some that's our van, by the way, and that van goes all over the valley, all over Fresno and down into Visalia and Tulare and up to Atwater and the Newman area. We do installations for people that want to augment their viewing and want to have free TV.
And that's huge here in the Central Valley.
But the point before you take your call there is that a lot of people want to have this programming. We have some ethnic programming that we offer. We have 3 channels in the Armenian language. We have an Arabic channel. Those channels are not available on cable, Comcast, or any of the paid services. So people will put an antenna. They might like their cable programming. They'll hang on to that, but they'll get an antenna too.
Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to make the comment about the lady that called in and said she didn't like Mr. Ed, but she liked all the others. We all have our favorites from various time periods. I happen to like Mr. Ed very well, but things like Welcome Back, Kotter, and the critical and sarcastic stuff I didn't care for.
Yeah.
So it just depends on who you are. And the fact that this is all available for choice now, I think, is wonderful.
Right.
And I would prefer some of the lighter toned things, such as Mr. Ed or I Dream of Jeannie or Flipper or whatever, to continue on the air. I think we need more things that are real everyday people and less things that are raucous and unusual and nasty people.
See, now, this is the kind of call. Thank you very much for the call, ma'am. You know, Mark, I gotta say, when you sit there at your desk, sometimes when you're upstairs and you're thinking to yourself, why did I get into this? That caller just made your day. Yeah, this is why you got into it, to please the viewers out there that want free TV, that want all of this old programming.
Well, it's not just old programming. I mean, classic programming is a big part of the Diginet phenomenon, but there's specialty programming too. We have 2 sports channels, for example, on our network. Mm-hmm. We have
Euro TV.
We have Euro TV, which is international news. We have the Arabic channel, which I mentioned. 3 Armenian channels. We've got Nashville programming from Nashville, which is the Heartland Network.
But you're serving
and we have a movies channel, an all movies channel, 24/7 movie channel. So yes, we are serving the public. Yeah. That's what we've been doing for the last 61 years, in the appliance business. But
in a different way.
In a different way.
Yeah, you're still here serving.
And he won't let me talk about all my channels.
No, we will, Gary. We will. Caller, go ahead, quick.
Oh yes, I heard the president there talk about how you could expand on the frequencies you have right now. But I was just kind of wondering, would that begin to start that ghosting thing that used to happen with analog television, having so many frequencies cramped into one area?
No.
Would that begin to kind of, make the quality of digital kind of degrade itself?
No, actually, television is getting better and better. There's Ultra HD now, which is even better than HD. So every year, television improves, the quality of television, pictures improve. Maybe not the programming that you are seeing today, because
I've had free TV since the day I was born, and it's just remarkable. I love all your programming that you've had. I mean, I remember days of Leave It to Beaver and so forth. I mean, I just love it all. You guys are really a great program.
You
have great programming, MeTV and so
May I ask you a question? Are you watching today with an antenna, or are you a Comcast subscriber?
Oh, sir, I have never purchased TV.
Okay, so you're getting it free.
For my television, I've always had an antenna. I've taken it with me from Selma to Sanger and now here in Fresno.
Well, good for you.
I always love my antenna.
Good for you.
God bless you guys for maintaining free television.
Keep watching. There's more coming.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, John, did you realize that just last month that 3 channels went on the air?
Yeah. No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't.
What 3 are they? On channel 21 there was Grit TV, which is geared towards men, and then there's Escape. That was. Now, these are not our channels. None of our channels.
Right.
They're on the Univision.
They're on the Univision channel, and Gary put on 16.1.
Right now we're just in color bars, but we'll have 4 new channels on channel 16 any day, and we're also going to have a new network from MGM starting in the next month or so called The Works.
I am going to talk about all your channels on the other side of this break, but he's having a coronary over there. He wants me to take a break, and you're going to come back and call in. 436-MeTV, option 11. We'll continue with our program with Gary Cocola and Mark-Shirin here in a moment.
This is Tough TV, Tough Sports, Tough Lifestyle, Tough Drama, Tough Reality, Tough Talk, Tough Specials, Tough Movies, Tough TV. Are you tough enough?
Back here on a Monday morning, having fun on the air, off the presses. And good morning, caller. You're on the air. Your question today about broadcast TV?
Oh, good morning, gentlemen.
Hi.
Hi. I just want to say thank you for the free TV, and I wondered if on the antennas, do you have to have a digital, or can you use a regular antenna? And I will go ahead and hang up and listen to you. Thank you so much.
If you have an antenna on your roof and it's in good shape and connected with the right type of cable, even if it was purchased prior to the digital changeover in 2009, it should work fine. But the things to be aware of is it needs to be, it needs to be pointed in the right direction. It needs to be in good shape. Sometimes antennas over the years will deteriorate because of weather and so forth. But if the antenna is in good shape, it's connected with the right wire, coaxial wire, and it's pointed in the right direction, it should be just fine.
And we're watching an install right here, the hookup. And I want to mention, I didn't do this earlier. My parents, my grandparents had this antenna that was like 40, 45 feet high. You don't need that in this day and age, do you?
Unless you live 70, 80 miles away. The higher you go with the antenna, the more channels you're going to get if you're in the fringe area, as we call it.
Okay. So you don't. So you can get all of the channels. You can receive all the channels that you want with, say, a 10, 15-foot pole, right?
Well, it actually lower. The typical pole that we use is 38 inches, and that would be at the eave line. So if the eave of the home is, let's say, 10 feet, it'd be a total of 14 feet off the ground, and that picks up most everything if you live in Fresno, Clovis, Selma.
It's like 80
Sanger.
channels.
80 channels. Yeah.
Okay.
It's mind-boggling.
Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Yes. Good morning.
Morning.
I really don't have a question. I just want to say thank you. Thank you. I love the old programs. I'm 84. I love Leave It to Beaver, Mr. Ed, Father Knows Best, any one of those. And the others, if I don't want to watch them, I just don't tune them in. But I love your channel, and I hope you don't ever quit.
Thank
you very much.
And how do you watch our channel? Do you watch it on cable or via antenna?
I have a little indoor antenna that I hang high on the wall. It's called a leaf antenna, and I get all the local channels, and I'm very happy with that. I don't need cable. I don't need an antenna.
Wonderful.
But
Great.
I enjoy what I'm doing.
Well, great. One of the things I'd like to point out, some folks who have indoor antennas, and it doesn't pick up all the channels, I suggest, if they don't mind the aesthetics, to get an outdoor antenna and put it somewhere in the house that's facing east in the indoor part of the room.
Okay.
Because those elements on the outside antennas actually are better at picking up the signals.
Yeah, and that's a map right there that we talked about earlier that goes about 80, 90 miles out. If you have an antenna, you can get the Fresno stations, including all of the Cocola stations, the Mark-Shirin stations, which is Ventura Broadcasting Company. Another call coming in. I got to get to your channels here, Gary, but we're being inundated here.
That's right.
Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hi.
I just tuned in, and I was wondering, you guys are talking about the channels. I was wondering, is 21 Univision shown off the line now? Because we can't get it no more.
No, it's still on the air. No, you have to rescan your TV. If you lose a channel, just rescan. Go to the auto program function on your TV and rescan. It'll be there. It'll come back. But Channel 21 has added new channels. They added a movie channel called Get TV about 3 or 4 months ago, and now they've added, as Mark said, 2 other channels, 21.3 and 21.4, which are movie channels, one for women, one for men.
All right, roll a piece of videotape. By the way, caller, thank you for calling in. I appreciate you watching either on cable or 43.6 or 13.1. Those are free broadcast televisions. Gary, I want to roll a piece of videotape from the Cocola Broadcasting Studios over there at Palm and Herndon. And you've been there many years, and this is the outside, right? The
outside of the building that's been there since the late 40s when my father first moved out there, and that was our cold storage and packing facility. My father was in the fresh produce industry, and then in the 80s when we built our first channel, Channel 59, 1985, we remodeled the building into a television broadcast facility.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. And so there we go inside. That's
lobby
our lobby
there.
Yeah, we got a call coming in. Good morning, caller. Your question, please.
Yes, my question is, I've been noticing I have antenna TV, but I've been noticing on some of the channels, they've been having this ad, and it's just an ad, and they talk about this clear TV antenna that they're selling. Is there anything to that? Is it, are they any good, or I just don't know whether they're worth buying, or should a person just buy antenna on top of their house.
I don't really want to knock anybody's product, but that's really not much better than a coat hanger. You could take a coat hanger and probably do the same thing with an antenna, right, Mark?
Well, I agree, but you know, some of these antennas work better in geographical areas,
right.
and that antenna may work fine in an urban area. We've experimented with literally scores of antennas, and certain ones work extremely well in the valley, and we've selected those antennas to sell at our place of business because they have a proven track record, and when they get sold, they don't come back. So I can't speak to that particular antenna, except that it may work in certain cities and geographical areas. Probably wouldn't work well in Fresno.
Thank you, caller. I appreciate it. Let's roll another piece of videotape, and I'll get to what you have here in front of you, Mark. Let's roll the equipment room. This is Cocola Broadcasting, Palm and Herndon. You've been in there many years, as you mentioned, Gary. How many stations now for you total?
Well, in the Fresno market, we have one high-power channel, channel 43, and 10 low-power channels, of which now Mark has channel 13 and 31. That's one of our equipment rooms where all the equipment is to broadcast the stations that we have. Mark's room upstairs is a little newer and a little bit more modern than ours. We've been doing this since the 80s, and of course equipment changes constantly, but that's just our low-power television room that's on the screen right now.
Okay, and we'll just keep rolling another piece of videotape from Cocola Broadcasting, whichever one you guys choose there. And I know how you're connected, you two, Mark and Gary, but to our viewers, go ahead and explain it, either one of you.
Well, you know, the very first Connect With Me show, which I think is still on YouTube, back in June of 2011, Mark and I got together back then because we had the MeTV franchise for Fresno, and Mark was interested in being the exclusive advertiser on the MeTV station. So that's how we first got together.
On your station?
On my station, channel 43.6, MeTV, and Mark became the exclusive advertiser, which means that only Ventura TV commercials were on the MeTV channel. And I think we actually, to the best of my knowledge, we're the only broadcaster and video appliance store owner in the country, in the United States, that has formed this kind of relationship.
By the way, that's your master control room there at Cocola Broadcasting at Palm and Herndon.
Right.
Again, and so Gary, I mean, I know we talked about this on the first show a couple of years ago. When you went to Mark with this idea.
No, actually, Mark came to me.
Mark came to you.
He actually came to me with the idea of having a network where he could insert Ventura TV commercials.
And be the sole sponsor.
And be the sole sponsor. And it just so happened that he chose MeTV.
Yeah, amazing how it came together. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to know, I live where we can't have an outdoor antenna. How are we going to get our shows?
Okay.
Where do you live, ma'am?
I live in Sanger.
Are you in an apartment?
Yes.
Okay, Mark, do you want to address that?
Yeah, let me take that. If you recall, caller, there was a lady that called about 10 minutes ago and said she had a leaf antenna. She didn't have an outdoor antenna, and we recognize that there are people that can't put an outdoor antenna. They can't install it because they live in an apartment or maybe a condo association, and they're not allowed to put an antenna on the roof. So we have partnered with a company called Mohu, and they develop antennas for the U.S. government, for the military. And one of their first antennas for communication gear. It's an interesting story, but they were developing antennas for military radar and that type of thing, and they had to be inconspicuous on placing the antenna because they were going in war zones. So they built an antenna that would fit in the mud flap of a truck. Now, for those people that don't know what a mud flap is, if you go down the freeway and you're following a big semi truck, there's a little, looks like a plastic thing that goes behind the tire, the rear tire. That's a mud flap. Well, they designed an antenna that would fit in the mud flap to be inconspicuous. That same company is developing this item, which is called a Mohu Curve. And this device here, which is about the size of a piece of paper, I don't know if the camera.
Here, let me have that, Mark.
Yeah.
You know, here, you talk about it while I hold it up there.
So basically, what this is, this allows you to put this in your home. You could use a tack and put it on the wall, or you could tape it in the window. And is this in the way?
No, I want to hold this up too. Go ahead.
Anyway, this sits on a table. This you can hang, and in Fresno with a leaf, you probably get about 50 channels. You won't get 80, but you probably get 50 with the leaf. That's a real proven antenna for people that can't put an outdoor antenna. Hope that answers your question.
Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Yes, I was calling about channels 16.1 through 16.4. There's been a test pattern on them now for several weeks, and I just wonder what the future of them are.
Well, the future is that you'll find programming very, very soon on those channels. There are new networks actually being born, as I call it, being born every single day. And we have prided ourselves, Mark and I, in acquiring rights to broadcast those channels in the Fresno market. Channels that have never been seen here before. And we just signed on, as I was saying earlier, Mark actually reminded me, we signed on a new ethnic channel on channel 27.5 recently. We will be signing on The Works from MGM Studios on channel 18.1. It's not on the air yet. It will be soon. You'll see channels on the 16.1, 2, 3, and 4 very, very soon. We pride ourselves, quite honestly, in adding new channels here to the market. And if we can get our hands on them, they'll be on our stations.
Want to take a quick break. Back with Mark-Shirin and Gary Cocola and your phone calls. 436-MeTV, option 11. Just a few minutes left. We're back in a moment.
Considering solar? Whether you're ready to buy now or just exploring your options, the consultants at Solar Negotiators are here to help you. A call to Solar Negotiators is like calling 5 solar companies at once. You see, when local established solar contractors have gaps in their schedule, they call Solar Negotiators to fill them. Right now, get 5 years of panel cleaning and maintenance or $1,000 off your new solar panels. So stop wasting your time searching and call Solar Negotiators, because when contractors compete for your business, you win.
Back here on the set of Connect with Me, and roll a piece of videotape, if you will. Recently, there was an article in the Fresno Bee by Rick Bentley about free TV and what Gary Cocola and Mark-Shirin had put together. This was, what, a couple of months back? I'm not sure. I forget what that, June. It was in June. This is me walking through the, not the showroom floor, but in a moment, I get that's the showroom floor right there. So, Mark, I guess the question to you is, when you and Gary got together, what did you see as a vision for this show, Connect with Me?
Well, we felt that there was definitely a lack of community-based programming. There's a lot of network stuff that's available on the big four, and there's a lot of news, but there really wasn't a venue for people to come and talk about their organization, their church, their business, and we wanted to be that program that would allow people from the community to come in and talk about their particular business. It's a voice. I mean, we wanted to hear people from City Hall. We want to hear about just Joe Public.
All right, caller, you're on the air. Go ahead. Hi, caller. Caller, you there?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm Joe from Farmersville.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 2 questions. I live in Farmersville. It's a small town between Visalia and Exeter.
Okay.
And I can't hardly see anything or receive anything.
Do you have an outside antenna?
Yes, I have a direct antennas, direct clear stream, and sometimes I get like 50, sometimes I get less, but it's all kind of fade away, every time. So I have to.
How high is the antenna on your roof?
It's not on my roof. It's on my porch. I'm in a second floor in an apartment building.
Are you facing east?
Actually, north. He needs to be facing north.
Actually, the only way I can get more channels is if I lean the antenna towards the northwest.
Northwest.
Yeah.
If I put the antenna northeast, I don't get that many channels.
Right. Okay. Right. Because he's southeast in the valley. Yeah. That antenna is the one that the other lady or someone was asking about. That's advertised on TV. Not one of the better indoor antennas. The one that I showed a little while ago, the Mohu Leaf, is probably the best antenna money can buy in terms of reception. So you might try substituting your antenna and you might get better results.
All right, just a few minutes left. Thank you, caller. I appreciate that very much. I hope you can resolve that issue. I appreciate you watching and calling in. I want to go back to the Cocola Broadcasting studios there real quick, and then we're going to close with some still photos. Your guy, Kevin Mosesian, has been with you for a while.
Yes.
And explain what he does for the Cocola Broadcasting, because we got some video of him in his office there.
We run all of our channels except the Monterey station. We operate everything out of the Fresno facility at Palm and Herndon by remote controls. So,
and Kevin is
the corporate stations manager. He is the guy who takes care of the day-to-day operations. I'm the guy that plans the future of Cocola Broadcasting, the channels that you're going to be seeing. I make the deals with the various networks and bring the new channels to the market. But Kevin is involved in the day-to-day operations of our company.
And that's Kevin there.
That's Kevin right there,
Okay.
in his office at Palm and Herndon.
And again, Gary, how many stations for you?
Well, in Fresno, we have 10 low powers, of which Mark now has 2, 1 high power. Then in the other markets, we have 4 in Bakersfield, 1 in Sacramento, 2 in Salinas, Monterey, 2 in San Luis Obispo, Santa Maria, and 7 in Boise, Idaho, of which 1 is a high power.
Okay, before we run out of time, let's run some of those still photos and just go through them. We'll talk about them. I know we have a call here, but I just want to see the green room here at Ventura TV, the new green room upstairs, and we'll talk a little bit about that, Mark, in a moment after this call here. Good morning, caller, quickly, short on time. Caller?
Yes?
Hi, caller, go ahead, quickly.
Oh, yes. I have 2 questions. One is I'm having problems with the sound on some of my channels. What can I do about that?
Which channels in particular?
31.1, 33.4, 43.3, and 43.5.
And what type of sound issues?
It's very, very low.
Oh, low. Oh, low sound.
Yeah, if you turn it all the way up to the top, you can hear it, but...
Thank you. 31.1, 33.4, did you say?
33.4, 33.6, 43.3, and 43.5.
You know, some of our channels have new equipment now. There is a law from the FCC that says that the commercial content can't be louder than the program content. And it's the fine-tuning of that specialized equipment that we had to install, which is mandated from the FCC. So some of the programming is actually lower now than it used to be to equalize it with the commercials. So if you'll report that to our offices, either Ventura TV for their channels or to our Cocola Broadcasting offices, we'll have our engineers take a look at those channels for you.
Thanks for the comment.
Thank you very much. We'll look into it. Call us here at the office or Cocola Broadcasting. We got less than a minute left. I want to put the shot of that green room upstairs. Go ahead and take it again, Ara. Mark, the purpose of the green room upstairs is perhaps future broadcast here at Ventura Broadcasting, right?
Right. We think that there is, a demand for people that want to do, let's say, a half-hour program on a regular basis. This studio is designed so they could do we could put whatever background they want. They could be we could show them in front of the White House or in front of the Taj Mahal, and they can do a program. And green screens are used a lot in weather when you see the weather.
That's the future.
That's the future. Yes. And we're using that green room to do our commercials, Ventura TV commercials.
With Lauren.
With Lauren, right, exactly.
Right. Mark, Gary, thank you. very
My
much.
pleasure.
It's always good to
My
see you.
pleasure.
You guys
Good to
are a
see you,
class
John.
act. I appreciate it
Thank
very
you, John.
much. Gary Cocola and Mark-Shirin, you continue to watch free TV. You're watching us on 43.6 and 13.1. Glad you could call in today, and we're going to see you back here again tomorrow. Have a great day.